Hi, so this is a quick tutorial for educators or for coaches who are setting up an entrepreneurship workshop or an entrepreneurship class about customer segments and particularly ideal customers or buyer personas. So we will discuss a template which you can download. It's in the description of this video and you can use it and hand it out to your participants. That will help them, and the exercise will help them define their ideal client in this workshop, in this exercise that you may integrate into your workshop or class. So why is this important? Why is it important to define a buyer persona or a customer segment? Well, most entrepreneurs, especially first-time entrepreneurs and also most students of entrepreneurship, tend to be quite optimistic about their customers and their chances of making a sale. So for entrepreneurs, they might have just asked their friends if this is a good idea, if they like the product. That's a very tricky way of validating if there is a problem and if there is a need for your value proposition. And therefore, entrepreneurs think quite optimistic, and you need to kind of put their feet on the ground in most cases. Now, for students, and specifically young students, if we take a look at primary or high school students, they tend to be very optimistic because they have asked probably their grandparents or other family members. So they think that that's enough to set up their projects. But we all know that a company takes more than just grandparents and their friends. Right? We need to build really a customer segment. We need to hopefully get some repeat sales. We need to identify a problem or a desire in the market. And therefore, we need to kind of get under the skin of our potential customers. Now, something else that's very tricky for young entrepreneurs and students of entrepreneurship is to define their customer segment way beyond social demographics. Social demographics are a start, but then we need to go way beyond. So they might start with, my customer segments are mothers who are between, 30 and 40 years of age. But then we need to go beyond, because within this customer segment, there are so many different types of personalities and so many different tastes and so many different problems or needs or desires that these people may experience, that we need to get under the skin, and we really need to go into the type of person, and they need to be able to describe it as if it were a friend of theirs, as if it were somebody they know really well, to really see them, to really see the problem they are experiencing or the desire they are experiencing, so that the entrepreneur can then offer the right value and promise the right value to that customer so that they really resonate with that. First, that is to develop the right product. And then it's also to communicate with the right words, to use the words that the customer would use for themselves. I think it's a very good example just to show that social demographics are not enough, is that Ozzy Osbourne has, in terms of social demographics, quite a lot of variables that are the same as King Charles of England. Whereas if you would want to sell any product to Ozzy Osbourne, probably that wouldn't be the same product that you would sell to King Charles. So that's the reason why we need to go way beyond social demographics, and we need to really get under the skin as if it were a friend of ours. So this template will really help your entrepreneurs, help your students to identify that. It will guide them along the way, and then you can do different exercises to, for example, a role play exercise to go to towards interviewing these customers. So let's take a look at the worksheet. This is the worksheet. You can download it. There's a link in the description of this video. So first, let's just go through the template, and then we'll go to an exercise of it. So first, there would be a picture, right? We could take any picture from the internet that would kind of represent our customer. And there's a couple of social demographics to start with, just to define if this is the right person. So their name, their profession, their age, their education, their life motto, if we can say that. And then we go to the interesting part. So there's a little space for a mood board. Your entrepreneurs can copy paste some pictures here, really about the style of this person and how they see themselves, the type of person this is. We have a short description, and here we can define the style, their friends, what a day in their life looks like, really. And then we go a bit deeper, where they spend their time. They spend their time on their children, their family. They spend their time on their hobbies. Maybe they do a study or some sort of degree or course on the side of their work. What type of work they do, where they spend their time. We also can go deeper into where they spend their money. So what are their priorities? How much do they spend on the cost of living? How much do they spend on the cost of food? How much do they spend on their hobbies? Are they passionate about anything that they spend a lot of money on? What are their favorite brands and their favorite companies? What values do they identify with these companies and with these brands? What are their favorite media and influencers? So that would really go into their tastes, what they resonate with, what they identify with as a person, and how they also see themselves. So that's the next point. How would the customer describe themselves? Are they very smart spenders who think twice about spending every penny? Do they really pay a lot of attention to brand and brand loyalty? Are they very loyal to the brands that they buy from? What type of person is this, and how do they really spend their time, spend their lives? How do they see themselves to what's important for them? Then for those of you who own a playground for entrepreneurs, which is a very interesting entrepreneurship game to play, there are lots of questions in the playground for entrepreneurs to identify your customer segment and to receive and to give feedback on that, and to play with the different customer segments and to develop them more, to get to know your customer. So these are the questions which are directly related with the customer segment in the playground for entrepreneurs. So feel free to use those questions and add to this template, to this note sheet, your comments and your progress on each of these questions. So let's take a look at an example. So this is a worksheet. I am setting up a fictitious company with my family, which is about developing games. So let's take that as an example. This is the dwarf game. It's a couple of dwarves who, in a collaborative game, actually set up a house. They build a house, and that is the game. So the opponent in this game is really the storm. So the storm sometimes comes and kind of breaks down the house, and the dwarves need to start again. That is the game. That's what the game is all about. So let's check this out. So this is the name. The name of our customer. So this would be a family, right? Family, let's call them Jones. The Joneses. And the Joneses, their main person would be the mother and children. The main customer for this game, so the mother would take the buying decision, And then the mother would buy it for the children and for the family to play. So let's say they have 2 children. We could give them names actually. So the mother would be called, let's say, Sarah, and 2 children. So Sarah is quite an educated person. She works as an educator. And her education is a master's degree. Now we could define that. Maybe it's a master's of engineering, just to make sure. And her age is about, let's say, 43. Now her life motto. So this is where we would say something that's important to our customers. So Sarah is a person that really takes into account her family. So family is everything. And she wants to work together with my children and husband to build our family. Let's just... That would be a life motto. So the short description: Sarah is very educated. She works almost a full-time job. Her free time is dedicated to the children. She is curious about education and raising her children to become responsible and creative people. So Sarah's really into education and working together. She's really determined to do her job as a mom well, and she really wants to collaborate. The collaboration is important to her. She wants to have fun with her children, being a mother, and raising them into responsible adults. So where they spend their time? Well, in the weekends, her time goes almost exclusively to her family. Once a month, she meets friends. And she plays sports with her children. That's where she spends most of her time. Her job is important, but she tries to keep it separate from her family time. So she's really dedicated to having quality time with her family. Where they spend their money, well, they spend their money on a nice house with garden for the children to play in, sports classes, especially for the children, and sports and creative classes, I would say. They also spend their money on games, vacation, and other activities. And all sorts of trips, day trips with their family. Favorite brands and companies. So this is really about collaboration. And this is about, in a sense, ambition, but ambition of working together and social intelligence. Social intelligence. And an excellent brand in a game perspective would be Haba. So Haba is a game company, a board game company which focuses on younger children. It's a lot about collaborative games with natural materials, and that is what they aim to do. Also, all sorts of sports, the family sports brands. Now, social media and influencers. Sarah is very interested in education. So education with a kind of a collaborative and a personal development type of a brand and influencers. So she would be a big fan of, for example, Mind Valley and its founder Vishen Lakhiani. She would be a fan of Andrew Huberman, probably. She likes education, she likes personal development, and she likes going in depth into those things. And then any sort of education and innovation type of influencers, maybe a couple of national influencers as well. She loves podcasts. She loves Instagram. And she uses LinkedIn professionally. How would they describe themselves? Well, they would really Sarah would really describe herself as an educated person who never stops learning. And she wants to bring the same to her children. I'm writing first person here just to make sure they describe themselves. So they want to bring them the same to their children, to grow up, to be responsible, and creative people. Curiosity is important. And they find it very important that this comes from a young age. This is stimulated from a young age. This is the person, the type of person who spends a lot of time with their children and loves their development and really dives deep into that. So that is basically how you would fill this sheet. Now, if we go back for a moment to kind of overlook the whole sheet of it, not going to go deeper into the playground questions for the moment. So, this is really what this person is about. You really get a sense of Sarah and what's important to her. And you can also see that in the mood board. Now, in class or in your workshop, you can do all sorts of exercises with this. So the first exercise would actually be to fill this out. Now, a next exercise following this could be a role play. So you assemble different groups, and one will take the role of the person, and the other one of the entrepreneur. And now focus, for example, interviews on customer needs and customer desires, so that you can identify the habits and the motivations of the people, and you can practice that in an exercise. You can use AI to do the same thing. So this could be an input for the AI for just to act out this person and then do the role play. That would be very interesting as well for the entrepreneurs to get their first insight to further refine their customer segment. This is a first guess, so this should maintain under development, and doing those role play exercises can really help further refine the customer segments and to really go into depth for them to develop their value proposition and ultimately their product market fit. So I hope this was useful. You can use this exercise with the sheet in your class or in your workshop. Let me know how it goes. So let's go back to the final sheet. Let me know how it goes and what obstacles or what questions you run into. You can always contact me on playgroundforentrepreneurs.com and also at inge@playgroundforentrepreneurs.com. You can subscribe to this channel, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about that.